Why, hello there, my pretties. Queen of Lions here, and brought to you by another episode of Shadows and Pretties, and this episode's 176. So today I thought, I go ahead and do another Disney movie from the 90s, because, I know I did a lot of Winnie the Pooh episodes, so I thought I would go ahead and do another Disney movie. Today we're going to look at this 1995 Disney movie called A Goofy Movie. Now, this involves one of Mickey's friends known as Goofy, the character Goofy, yeah, the Disney character. He's pretty funny, me to be honest. I haven't watched this movie in years, and oh god, this is bringing me back some nostalgic memories. So, I know this is actually one of Zach the Zeltic's guy's favorite movies, so I thought I would go ahead and, rewatch the movie and decide to review it because, man, this brought me back a lot of memories from when I was a kid. I used to watch this movie constantly on a daily basis as a kid, so I think we should just get started. Now, there is a sequel to it that came out in 2000, which I'm not really sure about the sequel because I might review the sequel, but that's going to depend if I feel like it. Now, anyways, I think we should get started with this movie. So, especially for those who haven't watched this movie in a long time, and for those who haven't watched the movie in like years, well, let me get started with the movie. So basically, this is about Goofy, who is. Sorry about that. My mom was asking me something. Okay, now back with the plot. So the Goofy movie, the plot is about the main character Goofy, who is the single father of his 14-year-old son Max Goof, with whom he has a tense relationship due to Max's fears of turning into his father. On the last day of school before summer vacation, Max and his best friend PJ and Robert, or Bobby, hijack the auditorium during the Principal Mazur's speech, and Max performs as a pop star singer, Powerline. Now, he does get into trouble with Mazur, and the stunt he makes Max a school celebrity, and to impress his love interest, Roxanne, who asks him to a party where Powerline's concert would be viewed live on television. Meanwhile, Mazur calls Goofy, considering him and Max's behavior may eventually see him as a capital punishment. Obviously, to Max's plans with Roxanne and fearing for his son's failure, Goofy decides to take Max on a fishing trip from their home state in Ohio to Lake Destiny, Idaho. Following the cross-country trip map and the route that he and his father took years ago, before they leave town, Max stops at Roxanne's house to call off the date. But when Roxanne mentions going with someone else, Max panics and instead of fabricates a story about how his father knowing the power line and they would be on stage at the concert. Goofy's attempt to bond with his son on the trip proved incredibly disastrous. When they happen to be upon Pete and PJ on a camping trip, PJ informs Max of how all the peers back at home anticipate seeing them on stage at the Powerline concert, and Pete advises Goofy to keep Max under control. Goofy takes his own son fishing and shows him the perfect cast fishing technique, accidentally luring Bigfoot into their camp. Pete and PJ flee, leaving Goofy and Max to spend a night with the Bigfoot. The next morning, Goofy then decides to make Max the navigator of the trip, and they both started enjoying their time together, but unbeknownst to Goofy, Max has altered the route and is directing him to Los Angeles, which is somewhere in California, where the concert is taking place. They stop at a motel where they meet Pete and PJ, and then Max tells PJ of his plan to get in the concert, which Pete overhears and informs Goofy. The next day when they arrive at the junction, Goofy tells Max to choose to go left to Los Angeles or right to Idaho. After Max chooses left, Goofy stops the car in anger and rolls away on its own after he and Max get out. The two chase into the Colorado River, where Max and Goofy have a heated argument, leading to them finally reconcile. After hearing Max's promises to Roxanne, Goofy vows to take them to a concert in Los Angeles. The two nearly plummeled down a waterfall, but Max saves Goofy by using the perfect cast. Goofy and Max then make it to the concert, and while sneaking backstage, they end up on stage with the Dance of the Power Line, watched by Pete and PJ and Roxanne on the separate televisions. Goofy and Max then later return to Roxanne's house in their damaged car, where Max tells the truth to Roxanne. She accepts it and admits that she had always had feelings for him ever since the first time she never heard of him until his utter father's trademark laugh. The car suddenly explodes, ejecting Goofy, who then falls through the porch roof of Roxanne's house. That's when Max introduces him to Roxanne. Thus, the movie ends. Now, I gotta say, this was a pretty good movie, considering the fact that we have this, concept, involving Goofy, because most of these movies like these, they usually have, involving around Mickey or sometimes it would happen around Mickey or Minnie or Donald Duck. But I'm really glad we got a movie involving Goofy. I mean, this was just flat out amazing that we have this movie involving Goofy. I mean, him being, no a single father and trying to make what's best for his son, Max, eventually, this mainly focuses on, their relationship, which I think that actually is a pretty neat concept for it. So eventually, the concept of it was pretty good. So, of course, this Goofy movie is based on the Goof Trap, which is an animated Disney afternoon show. And I guess they decided to take on, doing that. So, yeah, I mean, the directional debut for Disney story artist and animator Kevin Lama went on to direct the other Disney movies such as Tarzan, 102 Dalmatians, and Enchanted. However, in 1995, Lama did say that instead of just keeping Goofy one-dimensional he has been in the past, they wanted to give him an emotional side that would add up to the emotional arc of the story, as they wanted the audience to see his feelings rather than just his antics. Because you see Goofy's antics in the original, Mickey Mouse cartoon when he's with his friends, which I mean, I'm really glad we got to see the concept of this. So, of course, the main cast of it was pretty good, as well as we got, pretty good casting characters, and the songs are pretty good too, which I think it was actually pretty amazing to see the characters, interact with each other and all that. So, of course, this movie was released in theaters, which, I mean, I've never seen the movie because it came out before I was born, so, but I definitely have to say, I kind of remember I did have this movie on VHS. I could be wrong, however, because I haven't seen the movie in years, but it's still a pretty good movie, which, I mean, it has a really good concept. It actually provides a pretty good, detail for it. So, with that being the case, now, from what I've heard about the Extreme Goofy movie, it's basically a sequel where Goofy loses his job and enrolls college, which Max recently started attending. So, I mean, that's kind of like a little bit of a summary to the second one, which I don't plan to narrate, well, not narrate, but I don't plan to review the second movie unless I see it, because I don't remember if I've seen the movie or not. I might have saw it at one point, but I probably just don't remember because it's been a while. But I could definitely say right now that I kind of remember seeing this movie at one point or something like that. I don't even remember much about this movie. Maybe I kind of watched it, but I probably just don't remember much because, yeah, I might have saw the sequel as a kid, but probably just don't remember much from it. But I definitely have to say, pretty good movie, like the first one is. So I will consider reviewing the second movie if I ever see it again for the second time, because I think I did see it as a kid, but I don't know. It's just one of those movies that I kind of remember seeing as a kid, but then as an adult, I either don't remember seeing it or probably just have not seen it entirely, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry if I'm not making any more sense, but that's just how I'm seeing this personally. But anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and basically say this. This is just simply my own personal opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, perfectly okay too, as we're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these movies. I mean, this is a good movie from the 90s. I mean, most of you guys who probably grew up in the 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, or some mid 2000s, you probably have seen this on VHS as a kid. Like, I remember I did. But anyways, that's just all I have to say about this. It's a pretty good movie. And for those who have not seen it, I recommend it. Pretty good. So I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say this right now, that this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypasta, well, not creepypastas, but movies. And this is just simply my own personal thoughts. Yeah, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, Ed, what did you guys think? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this movie a lot better? Feel free to leave me what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.